Hi, everyone. Welcome. I am Amanda Panacea, and this is the Healer Revolution. Today, I'm going to be going over my most recent bioenergetic scan by Creating Balanced Health. If you aren't aware, I've been working with this company and their bioenergetic scans for almost 3 years now, and they just continuously blow me away with the hundreds of clients that I've worked with, as well as for myself and friends and family. I do have a podcast with the founder and owner, Samantha Stupak. She is the very first person I invited to be on my podcast because she is just such a wealth of knowledge when it comes to bioenergetic health and energy and how this all works, as well as what you can actually get out of it, like with the information that you can see. So I am going to share my screen. All right, so let's go to my scan. So I have quite a few, as you can see, they go way back. I've been through a lot basically, but I wanted to go over my most recent one because I'm launching my Adrenal Revolution program, and you can see why I'm so passionate about it. So these are my most stressed areas. You can see here, hypothalamus and adrenals are on here. The energetic system performance, this goes through all of the different organs and organ systems and shows which ones are the most stressed. So you can see here my problem area continues to be the endocrine system, primarily the hypothalamus, adrenals, and thyroid. So those are all of the glands that are resonating as the most stressed. So the hypothalamus basically kickstarts the HPT axis and the HPA axis. HPA axis is our stress response. Most people know the adrenals, and the adrenals release cortisol. Hypothalamus is super important for this process because it is the control center for if these processes even begin, as well as regulating the negative feedback loops. The hypothalamus is also in a part of the brain called the limbic system, which is responsible for filtering our reality and determining if things in our reality are dangerous or not, filtering it through every single bad or hard or traumatic or stressful situation that we've ever been through. So if you have a lot of fight or flight or a lot of trauma, the hypothalamus and the limbic system is where I would put a lot of my effort. Hypothalamus also, because it determines if things are dangerous or not, it's going to impact the immune system. So that's going to be the allergy points. If you guys know me at all, you may know that I went through mold illness, mast cell activation, eczema all over my body, candida, topical steroid withdrawal, which the steroid withdrawal is heavily going to impact the adrenals as well. The thyroid is part of our temperature regulation whole process, as well as the metabolism. And so this is going to be important for weight loss or weight gain. The kind of random thing on here is that ear drainage, but it makes sense when I tell you that my jaws have been clenching for the last 2 years on and off, just depending on how stressed I am, as well as if I'm dealing with parasites or not, which parasites have also been a big part of my journey. If you are familiar with comprehensive lab work or white blood cells, there's a type of white blood cell called eosinophils, and they are responsible for killing parasites before they become an issue. And mine were astronomically high. They've been over a 7 since about 2015 when I started getting lab work done, and they went all the way up to a 28, and they should not be above a 3. Anything above a 3, you're looking at allergic reactions, mast cell degranulation, or parasites. So you can see that I still am having a lot of endocrine stress. Now, energetic sensitivities, this is one of the reasons I love balanced health also, because it scans for over 450 different sensitivities. You can see exactly what is tested for in each category right here. And the really amazing thing for me is that I no longer have eggs on here, which has been on all of my other ones. The things that I'm still resonating as sensitive to, a lot of chemicals, as well as molds. I already knew that. Mosquitoes love me. I tend to swell up very easily. And all of these are in relation to chemicals. And I've also had my genetics ran, and I'm at a much higher risk for chemical sensitivities, and it makes perfect sense. Nutritional imbalances. So this is the balanced health scan is going to list the top 3 to 4. I'll just brush through these kind of quickly. The ones that always come up for me, vitamin C is a mast cell stabilizer. It helps with pushing immune balance. So if I'm constantly dealing with high eosinophils, parasites, itching, histamine intolerance, vitamin C is going to help bring balance. It's going to inhibit that Th2 response. All of these amino acids really important for the nervous system, blood sugar stabilization. The B vitamins, pantothenic acid is like our anti-stress B vitamin. Lipase breaks down fat, pancreatin breaks down some of our food, protease breaks down protein. The minerals, these also will are same thing as my hair tissue mineral analysis. Iron was low on that as well. Magnesium on my hair tissue mineral analysis is being dumped out, which is a stress response. And when we're in adrenal fatigue, shutdown, nervous system, fight or flight, our magnesium burn rate is going to go up. Potassium is really important for combating that stress response of dumping potassium and pulling calcium out. Sorry, guys, something stuck in my throat. But potassium is another area I've actually been working on a lot because of how low it was on my hair tissue mineral test, and because it keeps coming up on my bioenergetic scan. Potassium is really high in coconut water and aloe vera juice, which are really easy to get high dose of potassium. The interesting thing is that magnesium is required to absorb potassium. So you want to get those together, and in coconut water, there is a little bit of magnesium. But I've also been extra dosing the mag. Then we have energetic toxins. So for the full scan, your clients are going to get a list like this. It's not going to be specific, but if you are an affiliate, you are going to get the exact list of toxins that are resonating. So for me, these two, well, salmonella, so this is going to be a gut bacteria. I'm sure you guys are familiar with that. Actinomyces and nocardia. So these are associated with water damage buildings. And I did have a history of being exposed to mold. I live in Miami, so there's mold everywhere, basically. I have had my apartment tested, and I do not have any mold that shows up. So I know it's not my apartment. So I'm not super worried about these. The big thing is mold is fat soluble mycotoxins, so they can live in your adipose tissue. And so if you're carrying around extra weight, or your liver is stressed in any way because it breaks down those fat soluble toxins, you could be holding on to old mycotoxins. They can also colonize in the sinus cavity and in the gut. These are technically bacteria, but they are associated with the water damage. This is a mold, though, Spondylocladium. It's not an indoor toxic mold from water damage buildings, so I'm not worried about it. Clonorchis and trematodes, these are parasites. Clonorchis is a liver fluke, which I have passed a lot of liver flukes in my journey, as well as worm-type parasites. Influenza A, this is just the flu, not worried about it, but varicella. So I did have chickenpox really bad as a child, and this virus will live on your nerve endings, and it can turn into shingles later on in life. I've never had shingles. However, like I said, it will live on that nerve ending. And then when you get older, if you become very immune compromised, or maybe you're just on a lot of antibiotics, or during a mold exposure, people could develop shingles. I have had a lot of clients living in water damaged buildings that will develop shingles. And that's because your immune system is suppressed to the point where you can't keep that virus in latency phase in the box. The hormones that are resonating for low that continuously come up for me, low testosterone. And this was confirmed on a Dutch test that I did, which gives a big picture for all of the hormones and then all of the different pathways and enzymatic reactions. Bradykinin, this is important for blood pressure. Specifically, if it's low, it could be related to stress, maybe mold exposure, but I see bradykinin come up as low on just almost anyone's scans, like even babies. I think it's just a very sensitive hormone. It is also released during hay fever. And so if it's low, you may have more pain, may have the lower blood pressure, dizziness standing up, lower stamina, and things like that. Low glucagon is going to be the pattern of higher insulin. I've never had high glucose and or high HbA1c on labs for the last couple years. However, the very last lab that I did, my glucose was a tiny bit more elevated and out of the good functional range, which could be related to stress, but it could also be a bigger picture of, that could also be a bigger picture of that chronic adrenal HPA axis stress, because that's long-term going to impact blood sugar. And then VIP, so this is a hormone or a peptide that keeps the gut lining nice and strong. This does get imbalanced when you get exposed to mold. There is a peptide you can take. It's a nasal spray that sometimes old school mold doctors will give out, which can be helpful for inflammation levels and gut health, etc. And then lastly, we're going to go into my remedies. Now, this is bioenergetic. So this is tested for my body, in particular for also what I was going through in my body according to this test. So bioenergetics is basically asking your body a question, and then depending on if the energy is balanced and in range, or if it goes out of range higher or out of range lower, you're going to get the answer. So not only that, but all of these products were actually tested together to make sure that they're not going to be too stressful for my body. So I'm going to start with up here. Cellcore is a different company that I like to use. And these are the products that resonated. So still some parasite herbs. I'm choosing not to do these right now because parasite cleansing can be difficult and can flare mast cell issues and also itching and histamine issues as I itch my neck right now. Mito ATP is now called BC-ATP, which is mitochondria support or cellular support. For balanced health, you can also send in up to 5 different remedies to be tested to see if they balance that are not in the formulary. So these are your own. And it looks like most of the things I sent in balance. Some of the things on this list were peptides. Berberine helps balance blood sugar, so that makes sense. This is MitoLife's vitamin E, which can be really helpful for estrogen dominance. I did send in methylene blue, and it did not resonate. I did take that on and off for about a year. So then we get into the balancing remedies. These are from a company called Physica, which have been formulated by Dr. Cass, who has been formulating products for over 30 years. He's just one of those people who are so brilliant that you have a hard time understanding him because his mind is just so amazing. So this first one, Gin Intrinsic, this is a drainage formula. It's come up for me before. I feel like it's just one of the things that my body really likes for drainage, because we have like a ton of drainage formulas in here, as you can imagine. There's also licorice root in this one, which is fantastic for the adrenals. And you can see skin issues, liver, spleen, some of these drainage pathways are things I've struggled with in the past. Rehydrate. This is something that came up for me so many times in the beginning with mold. In regards to mold, I was so dehydrated, and I had been drinking alcohol for God only knows how many years prior to finding balanced health. So I was not surprised that it came up in the beginning, but also if you look at some of the reasons it can come up, adrenal mineral corticoid support, as well as some of these kind of really interesting corrects left spin and switching. So all of our cells, the electrons, the protons, they have to spin, they spin right. And sometimes with chronic illness or high stress events, they can start to spin the other direction, left. And so that helps with correcting some of the cellular functioning. Next, we have adrenal life force. Not surprised, this is adrenal glandular tissue, as well as some vitamins and herbs that are really helpful for adrenal support, like rhodiola can help with lowering cortisol levels. Vitamin C, like I said, always comes up for me. I just need to stay on vitamin C every day of my life, which I have been. And then we have DIM, which is helpful for estrogen dominance. So this was again confirmed on my Dutch test and my epigenetics test that I'm actually converting testosterone into estrogen higher than usual. And look what it helps with, the exact issue. This is something just because of genetics that I might just stay on for a while. Normally these remedies are 4 to 6 weeks. And then lastly, vitamin B complex. This also comes up for me all the time because we are going to burn through our B vitamins the more stressed we are. There's also a lot of mitochondria support in here, like NADH is the precursor to the electron transport chain, which is how our mitochondria make energy. And this is one of my favorite formulas because it's actually super delicious. It's like a syrup. It's like made with honey. And so it's nice to take like right after you eat as like a treat. So that concludes my most recent scan. Again, my program, the Adrenal Revolution, is going to be launching in November. And I am just super passionate about the whole supporting other women who have been in this boat, because I used to think that I wasn't stressed. I used to think that I was really good at handling stress and that I thrived in high stress situations and that my life was stressful and that like that was it, or like there was no rest for me. No rest, no rest, live fast, die young was my motto until I got really sick. And so I know that there's tons of women out there that have just been indoctrinated into hustle culture and masculine energy and having to do things a certain way. And you literally don't even know that there's an easier, slower, better way that you can live your life more aligned with who you are without feeling that constant need to be busy and burn yourself out to the point where you get sick, or you eventually may have to like quit a job or a career. You absolutely do not have to do that. I can help walk you through the whole process. So check out my group program, The Adrenal Revolution. You can find it on my social media as well as Instagram handles. But I will also be uploading the webinar to my YouTube. So find me at thehealerrevolution.com or Instagram at Amanda Panacea. Please like and subscribe to my videos and help me getting this message out there to all the other women who are like me or who are like you. There are better ways to heal and take care of ourselves. So thanks for listening and bye.